Well, when I was a young man, I was growing up in Brooklyn, New York, and the biggest memory I have is we get assigned, I don't know if they do this anymore, we get assigned a whole bunch of books over the summer to read, and I would go there in June and get, I guess you could take it out for 2 weeks, get Mark Twain and all the James Fenimore Cooper and all the American traditional stuff and read it. And then I would come back 2 weeks later. This is the southern end of Brooklyn, New York, and I would return them. And I just love the idea of carrying all those books out and the smell of the books. And remember, I grew up in I really went to school in the late 1940s, so it was an adventure to take out those books. Today, I think the libraries are underestimated. I think the people in Washington and in the states that don't really take care of libraries appropriately don't understand the impact they have. There are two groups of people that are really causing libraries to be packed to the hilt. Libraries are sellouts. One of them are the older Americans, and that I include anybody 45, 50 up. The other is the younger people who may not have access to books. One of the interesting things about American life is that we take it for granted that people can get books easily. That is not true. The library budget cuts are among the most unproductive pieces of legislation and budgeteering in the nation. And the reason for that is all you have to do is to take one of these legislators or congressmen and take him into a local library. And you know, they've got the Library of Congress in Washington, which is one of the great libraries in the world, and it's mobbed every day. The Abington Library is mobbed every day. The Philadelphia Free Library is mobbed. The Ocean County library system is overwhelmed. What's going on? And I think that the fact that we have e-books doesn't make a difference. Got to get every book into an e-book so people can see them that way. This book is the candid, very dramatic look at the 7 years between the time the Beatles got started and the time they actually became a success in late 1963, which was 1 month before I met them for the first time and began this extraordinary adventure with them. Everybody thinks it was a glamorous trip. Will get their hair stand up. Their hair will stand up in this book. They were treated, I think, somewhat abusively in Germany, where they lived in a bathroom, were beaten by nightclub goons. They washed toilets in Liverpool to get their start. They wound up, get this, you and I couldn't make this up, with a convicted killer to protect them in Liverpool. They were accused of all kinds of crimes, many of them which they did not commit. They came back from Hamburg with their tail between their legs. They quit. Not only did they quit then, they quit many other times. This was a group that was buoyed and committed to by human beings that were never, whose story has never been told. People like, you'll love this one, people like Bill Harry, who was a high school journalist, who rigged a poll, making them #1 in Liverpool. It wasn't a very scientific poll anyway. And the headline read, Beatles #1 in Liverpool. This book tells the real story of Brian Epstein, who was an amazing man. He had 2 strikes against him. He was Jewish and he was gay, although the world didn't know it. But in England, if you were gay, you go to jail in those days. But he had this incredible love for these guys. In fact, I'll leave you with the greatest quote he gave me of all the tapes I had, the hours and hours of tapes. He said, Larry, this is 1964. The children of the 21st century will be listening to the Beatles. And in 1964, that was pretty hard to imagine.